I do it anyway, to be honest. So I don't know. I think about it.
I didn't even get to asking about how much they paid, but
They don't pay.
they don't pay. Okay, well, that's right. No, it was just a case that I just didn't have the time, to be honest, and
Yeah.
and still don't have the time. So,
Mike, do you not have to go through? You have to become an assessor as well, though, don't you? Don't you have to have a qualification or something to actually be an assessor? Never mind your experience.
I don't know.
That's when I looked at it. That's what turned me off. I didn't want to go through all the rigmarole, as I called it at the time, of becoming an assessor. So you had to learn that part. But maybe
This is only, well, I don't know. This would only be to assess fellows. I've spent
right. Okay.
I've spent 15 years telling MICMs why they should apply for their fellowships. So this would just be a situation where they're being put in front of me.
when I was on the executive board, all the executive board, 2 out of every application for a fellow went to the executive board. So,
Right.
but of course, there's membership applications as well. They didn't come to the board, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So there must be an assessment committee or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
I know it's a lot more automated now than it was previously. So, right.
Okay. I'll just be like, yeah, you're okay. That'll be 500 quid, please.
Yeah, you're not going to become rich on that, I'm afraid, Mike.
Can you use fivers? No, definitely not.
Yeah. So,
right. Fellows are.
We don't have a lot of people for you, Angelique, this morning, I'm afraid.
No worries, no worries.
But they are quality.
We're gonna have it recorded anyway, so we can share it later.
Yeah, it's recording, and all I can say is that the guys that we got here are quality. So this is
perfect.
Yes, I'll say that's
quality over quantity.
Yeah, over quantity.
He didn't say good quality, Angelique. He just said quality.
For me, I only work with good quality.
Yeah, we're the best.
Yeah, I have no doubts.
Simply the best. Yes, I shall put some music.
We're so well organised. We have time to attend this every week.
Yeah. Exactly.
Good. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, okay. There may be some more, but we are getting into. Some people are on holiday. We are getting people's out of offices at the moment. So, right. Okay. So. For those who don't know Angelique, and I've known Angelique for quite a long time, we haven't seen each other for a long time, so it's very nice to see you. And she's head of data strategy at Cedar Rose in their new offices in Dubai. But she's just told me she's working from home, like the rest of the world. So
exactly.
And 50 degrees, I think I'd rather be here. So
thank you.
Hope the aircon's working okay. So. Right, Angelique. Angelique's got to leave us at 12. At 11. So this is about a 20-minute presentation. So, so shall I click the slides?
Yes, please.
Okay, over to you then, please.
Thank you, Laurie, for having me today for the coffee break. And I'm happy to connect with you again after the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Hopefully, you are all staying safe and working maybe from home like I do. So in this era, and especially after the COVID-19, many businesses and people are using technology more than ever, whether in terms of online meeting, e-commerce, or even automation. So can we please move to the next slide, Laurie? So we tend to make a lot of decisions during our daily decision-making process. How accurate and reliable our decisions are. Would it be a different decision on any different day? When it comes to credit reporting specifically, many of our day-to-day decisions can be automated, especially in today's complex world. The credit industry is becoming increasingly complex, so complex that credit professionals can no longer handle all the information they need to manage with traditional technology. So we all need to use alternative solutions with capabilities to minimize the impact of the new data-driven world. And next slide, please. You can stop me whenever you want, or you can just put your questions if you have any on the chat box.
Yep.
Okay. So if I give you some specific factors related to a company, what would you size the business? What would its credit limits be? Or what is its risk rating? Is it a high risk business or a low risk business? So we have too many questions, yet we need time to analyze, compare with peer groups, and then come back with the answers. For instance, if we have a business, like you see in this slide, with an employees of 200, turnover of approximately $2 million, capital of $1,500, and a loss of $10,000, with 3 premises in total in the country. So the simplest decision would start with, what would be the size of this company? Is it small or is it medium? If one of those factors is missing, will you still be able to size this company? Well, this company for me could be small, it could be medium, and some would consider it as a large company for having 200 employees. So you might even come and tell me, oh, we need more data to have a clearer overview of the company in order to be able to size it up. But at the end of the day, the more the data we have, we can gather like thousands of data points, and then the analysis will become more and more challenging and complicated. And you might end up making a subjective decision. Same applies on credit opinions, risk rating, and a lot of other decisions. Next slide. So there are many examples that can be automated by creating algorithms using tens and hundreds of factors with allocated ratings and weights. Another example is the ratio analysis conclusion. It's not the ratio analysis formula, but the conclusion itself. So in the process of analyzing financial statements, we all use ratio analysis, which is a set of formulas. And then we need to analyze these formulas and add some conclusions at the end while reviewing several figures during the assessment. So can we automate these conclusions? We definitely can, by also creating an algorithm that has all possible scenarios to come with conclusions in a matter of seconds. Next slide, please. So technology plays a big role in making decision and credit rating industry. Other than being instant, accurate, and reliable, the main advantage of using AI. Sorry. Someone is talking in the background. Can you please all mute your microphone if, unless you have something to say or to add here.
On to mute, guys.
So the main advantage of using AI-powered models is that you can feed the hungry algorithm with as much data as you want. How AI is being used to determine creditworthiness, particularly for those without credit histories, is to determine the credit risk or creditworthiness of a business. Many factors are involved, from geographical location, industry, financial position of the business, its liquidity, for example, the owners behind the business, even the ultimate owners, the size and business growth, many other factors. So what we do at Cedar is that we take all the data points into consideration. However, the source and the date of data is, they both are very specific elements that we need to look at. Why is that? Because first, all sources are graded. Some sources are reliable, others are not. And this we all need to pay attention to when we receive information. We always need to ask ourselves, what is the source behind the data? Second, in some cases, the older the data is, the lower to zero added value it will have to the assessment. And these two factors should be also taken into consideration in the algorithm. After having all data related to this specific company that we are assessing, the module will allocate different weights to each factor and different ratings to each data point. Some will have a positive impact on the assessment, other will show an alarm on the subject or a negative impact. And you will have an automated credit risk assessment and creditworthiness of the subject in just a second. So when you have the data, up-to-date data, reliable data, structured data, all you need is to create an AI-powered model to read, analyze, allocate, generate, and give you a final assessment. Of course, to do that, you need mathematicians, data scientists, financial and business analysts, and credit specialists, as well as few programmers. But once you have it, you can run it on all the companies. The next slide, please, Laurie. One of many factors which is very important to be identified is the beneficial ownership of a business. So how easy is to identify them? And most importantly, the UBOs. It is very important to identify the company's connections to any possible money laundering, political exposed persons, terrorist financing, illegal arms trading, child labor, corruptions and bribery. It's also very crucial to discover the ultimate beneficiary owner of a business and identify harmful risk that can seriously damage the subject business. How is this connected to the credit rating process? Well, if you have the entity hierarchy and the UBO of the business, a red flag of any of these connections might or even should affect the risk rating of the company itself that you will be dealing with. Next slide, please. Well, I would like to share some of our innovations and recent products. The first one is CR Score, which is an artificial intelligence scoring system that uses data to accurately calculate a risk score of a company. We have directors and shareholding search. Customers can search millions of directors and shareholders from the MENA region. The third is trade rate. Companies can come to our website and they can rate their customers' payment performance. This one is also taken into consideration in our CR score because negative ratings should affect negatively on the credit assessment and positive ratings should also affect positively on the credit assessment. Salesforce integration, clients can use our data and fully customize it to be mapped, a platform that hosts millions of data at easier access. Next slide, please. Who we are, for those who don't know Cedar Rose, we are established in 1997. We offer risk management solutions globally. We are specialists in the Middle East and North Africa. We have 3 offices in Lebanon, Cyprus, and UAE. We are known for quality and reliable business credit reports and due diligence investigations. And we hold the only source for electronic identity verification in the Middle East. And next slide, please, Laurie. What differentiates us, our credit reporting and due diligence services, is that our researchers are multilingual. We have a network of local contacts across the Middle East. Our investigations are global. We use many AI-based models for analysis and decision-making. We can also provide comprehensive tailor-made investigations. And we are trusted by auditors, banks, governments, investors, journalists, and more. We have over 23 years of experience. And most importantly, we have boots on the ground. And that's it. Last slide, Laurie, please. Laurie. I'm not sure if I am disconnected.
I'm just going to unmute myself. I would say I like the term boots on the ground.
Yeah. Thank you. So the last slide, this is it for today. So thank you very much for your time. And if you have, this is some insights about the company, if you can, yeah, please. So we have, 1 second. Okay, these are some statistics about what we hold in our database and what we can cover globally in terms of companies and people. So we cover 160 million individuals records for identity verification. We hold 23 million individuals in our database with 6.5 million UBOs. We also hold 12 million companies in our database, and we do cover 230 plus country for credit reporting and due diligence. These are our recent awards. from 2016 until this year. Also, we have achieved, we were winner for Credit Excellence Award for 2020 for the third time.
Congratulations, well done.
Thanks.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
With COVID-19, which is affecting every country in the world, is that having any impact at all on you gathering information? Because you know, a lot of it you're not getting from databases. You're having to go through, as you say, boots on the ground or through other ways. Is COVID-19 been having an impact on that?
Yeah, to be honest, it didn't really have a big impact because we have a very large database. The only impact that the businesses, most of the businesses closed. So it's very hard to have direct investigation with the directors and shareholders from the business. So this is where you have to count mainly on the database that you have, also on the boots on the grounds that you also have in each and every country, and this was what helped us in the past couple of months.
Yeah, I suppose also there's going to be that 3 or 4 months or 5 months or even 6 months hole, really, when businesses have not traded, how that's going to affect their financial standing. You've got the picture. You've got the picture before COVID. Then you've got a gap, then you start again. I'm not sure what you start with. You know, it's filling that gap in between is I know it's been discussed a lot with a lot of credit managers and on how they do that. So you know,
true. And you have to take into consideration different industries, because some industries turnover increased. Yes. Like e-commerce, for example, and other industries, operation and turnover decreased, and maybe they closed their business. So it differentiates from an industry to another and from jurisdiction to another. So along with other factors, for sure. Yeah,
no, some have been heavily impacted, as you say. E-commerce, food retail has gone,
up.
Yes. So,
true. Yeah. And it's very important to have contingency plans to adapt with anything that comes, any pandemic or any issues that occurs. So it's very important to have a plan for that, contingency plan or continuity, business continuity plan.
Any questions from you guys? Oh, the real Cynthia is joining us now, Angelique.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hello. I arrived at the end.
Angelique joined originally with your name. I'm going, something not quite right here. So how are things in Lebanon?
Good.
Good. Oh, that's
what can we say?
Yeah.
So we had a big disaster, but people are helping each other, not the government, people.
Yes, I heard that your government has thrown the towel in, I think, isn't it? So, yes, I saw that this morning. So,
yeah.
But all your team and their families are safe? Yes?
Yes, we are all safe. We had some material damages in the office and our places, but with the disaster you see, it's nothing. You cannot even talk about it. So
I've seen a lot on the news. So oh well, it's nice to see you. I'm pleased you're safe.
Yes.
That's the important thing. So guys, any questions for Angelique at all? I like that. I like that slide that said "hungry algorithm." That's a new one.
Yeah. They are, because the more you feed them, the more they grow and the more reliable it becomes.
Yeah.
Could we just go back that one slide? That question, that 107 million companies. So I was a bit confused about that statistic. Could you just because you say you've got 12 million companies that those are companies you've investigated and you have data on. So what's the 107 million companies? What's going on there?
Yes, you can connect via our website to 107 million companies. However, we hold in our database 12 million companies, mainly for the Middle East and North Africa. The rest are for the globally, for global coverage.
So I don't understand. When you say connect, what does that mean? Sorry.
We do supply these companies via other suppliers, so you can have access to this 107 million companies. It's not in our database. So in our database, we have 12 million companies.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got relationships with other information providers, so they go through you as a gateway to.
Yeah, to have a global coverage.
Yeah,
exactly.
so
I see.
US could be Dun and Bradstreet or something like that. But
Right, with you
not
now.
wanting to mention any other names.
Other providers are available.
Yes, and we do credit report, fresh investigation on any of the countries. So this is available as well.
Yeah.
This is why it's 230 plus countries.
Cool, thank you. That explains that. I was a bit just uncertain about that number. Thank you.
So we
Any other question?
And so I can come to Cedar Rose for any country in the world almost.
Yes.
They'll give me a report, and it may be your report or
most of the countries.
Somebody else's report, but you'll brand it yours, so it's fine. Yeah, understand. Yeah. And Mike, anything from you? Martin, anything from you?
I've been looking at AI for quite a long time now. I'm very much in favour of it because it takes away so much of the grunt work from the credit collectors.
Yeah.
At the same time, the whole COVID question, as we discussed some weeks ago with Dan, is that there is no information, and therefore we just have to be more risk averse, because there are certain companies that COVID has benefited in terms of turnover. I know of two directly. One is a wine merchant whose turnover is 300% up. And the other is a guy who 7 years ago formulated an antibacterial hand wash for coronavirus. And he's almost become a millionaire overnight.
Exactly.
But most companies will be way off their targets. And there is no real way, if we're all honest, that any credit information provider can show that when we ask for credit reports. So therefore we have to take a report and then reduce the figure. So what I was doing in my last role is simply giving people the credit they asked for rather than giving what was possible to give them, which is what I would normally do. So you might have £1 million turnover company that could have £50,000 worth of credit. But if they only ask for £5,000 for a training course, we just give them £5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good question. The question I'm putting in is the algorithm and the credit ratings that have been built are based on historic accounts, but also obviously current cash flow reports and things like that. If businesses are effectively in shutdown and maybe slightly mothballed but able to come back, or they've got too much, as many of my customers have. We had a whole COVID program to allow licenses to be put on, go on holiday, and therefore not be charged, and be added to the months of free to be added to the back end of those contracts, so that the whole contract value remained the same, but that we would reduce billing for a period of time, the 3 or 4 months. How are you going to adjust for those businesses for those periods to say, okay, yeah, during this time there would be very little cash collected, very little billing done from those businesses, therefore they look as if they've virtually gone out of business, but actually they sort of 60 to 80% mothballed their businesses, only to come back again afterward. How that hiccup be managed in your algorithm and in your data analysis?
Well, whenever the company is dormant, you never know when it will come back to start
Not really
operation
dormant,
again.
sorry, that's not quite the expression. They're just temporarily, partially mothballed. So a recruitment agency, for example, who's got 150 offices, may have reduced themselves to 20 offices or something, or 10 offices, and concentrate all activity through just those few offices and the few staff they've retained, whereas the majority of the staff will have gone onto furlough. So there's obviously going to be significant impact there in terms of their immediate cash from their commissions, etc., and maybe their temporary workers that they're no longer having to employ or pay. So that whole aspect is that the business has not become dormant; it's just effectively mothballed up most of itself for a short period of time. That would just look like a terrible drop-off in turnover and a terrible drop-off of cash, and therefore would immediately send up big red signals. But actually, it might have been a very sensible approach to the COVID, protecting the business in the COVID period. I mean, how will the algorithm, will you be able to, your teams be able to build that experience into the algorithms to say, no, this wasn't a serious issue, and actually it's still quite a strong company?
Well, answering your question, Sean, this is a very interesting question. The fact that the number of employees dropped and they are no longer, for example, working from the offices, and they have a decrease in turnover or in cash flow or in profit or anything like that, this will definitely and directly affect the algorithm by decreasing the credit limit that you are granting this company. Because after all, what you are assessing today is the near future possibility of the company to repay its debts. So you're not assessing for a long-term payment, like after a year or two. Maybe after a year, the company will triple its employees again. It will triple its revenue again, or even more. So your assessment is only based on the near future term, which is based on what you have in hand today and now. You must decrease the credit limit at some point. But on other, as I said previously, that it differs from an industry to another, because other industries will have doubled the turnover or revenue because of the pandemic.
Yeah, one of our businesses obviously exploited it extremely well, being a virtual office supplier. So yeah, it's had a tremendous impact on our business.
Mm.
Yeah, some businesses are almost going to go from a 12-month year to a 6-month year. Unfortunately, they won't have any revenue coming in, but they're still going to have costs.
Yeah,
There'll be some costs there, even if they've furloughed their employees, they're still going to have to be paying for business and office space. That's
absolutely. The fixed costs are all there, aren't they?
Yeah, electricity and gas and all the other telephony and that sort of thing. So it's yeah, it is a different. As I say, it's really leaving a really big hole there, and yeah, some are not going to dig themselves out of that hole, unfortunately.
No.
What I would like to add is this is why at Cedar Roads we currently recommend fresh investigation and to place a monitoring. You see, because we have uncertain times. A company can change from a month to another. So it would be better to always place a monitoring when requesting a company credit on a company. And fresh investigation is really more reliable because you are working on less historical info. It might not be, or at least we know the status of the company, the current status of the company.
Does this mean that your business has got extremely busy then, as we come out of the immediate lockdown period and people start to go into monitoring and real-time investigations? Has that suddenly increased for you guys as people wonder about their own risk?
Yes, we didn't face any issue with the number of orders we received. When COVID started, we had a spike in the orders, and we were really busy. Even working remotely, we were really very busy.
Okay.
Thanks God.
Well, we've reached 11 o'clock, and I know that Angelique's got to run to another meeting.
Thank you, Laurie, and thank you very much for your time. If you have any question, please feel free to get in touch. Bye.
We'll make the recording available. Stay safe. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Sure. You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay. Any well, we're finishing a little bit earlier today. Not so many people on the line, which is a bit of a shame. But any other thoughts from anybody?
No, I didn't realise Cedar Roads were quite that big. I didn't know they had that much coverage, to be honest. So I've learnt something today.
Well, I knew about the coverage. Yeah, I knew about the coverage in the North Middle East and North Africa, but I'm talking to them. I know they've now got this. It's almost a network, isn't it? With so
right. We started covering globally last year.
Yeah.
We are trying to increase the access online for our clients to be able to download reports from various countries.
Yeah.
And it seems we are doing good.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, we're gonna have an early finish today, I think.
Yeah.
Just to let you know that if you're interested in fraud, this is not how to commit it, by the way.
School for scoundrels.
That's a different forum that we actually only advertise on the dark web. So we have our fraud prevention network meetings on the 17th of September. That's virtual, and the next coffee break is on the 25th. We're taking a break next week because of we're in the middle of the holiday periods. So
that's my birthday.
What, 25th?
Yeah.
Oh, we're coming back on your birthday then. Okay. I shall raise a glass. It may be water, but it'll be fun.
A virtual cake.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll do a cake for you. So, Mike, I wish you all the very best in your new role starting next week.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll stay in touch, and I hope you found the Angelique's session of interest. As I say, we have recorded it this morning, so it will be available, and we'll make it available to anybody else that couldn't make the call today. So,
could you send me a form, Laurie? I talked to Lynn about it.
Yes. She
Thank you.
Yesterday afternoon. So, yeah. So we're not going to let you go that easily, Mike. So.
No, and you're getting 2 memberships.
That'd be nice. So yeah. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much indeed, and stay safe. And see you again shortly, hopefully.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.